What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another video here. Figured I would do an update or progress video format this time because it's been a while since I've just done one of those and sort of explained where the accounts are at, what my goals are, what's been happening with the game, etc. Most of my last few videos have all just been very heavily PVM focused, and you've just sort of been seeing live action in that. So gonna be going over. Actually, there's a ton of updates that have been happening from JAGEX's end. There's a ton of announcements posted on the blogs and whatnot. These blogs are like super long reads. Honestly, most people don't even have the attention span to get through them all. I mean, they say they want to cater updates for the bulk majority of players, but the bulk majority of players is not are not gonna read through these like long blog posts and such. So I don't know. Obviously, the people that are invested into the game that will always play this game are gonna read them, but I don't know. They always try to cater to the new player experience and throwing out this many changes and all these weird concepts like elemental weaknesses, damage splats hitting a 1. Like, it just, I don't know. A lot of their plans are kind of contradictory, and yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But it is what it is, and yeah. So good news is they moved the Alk uh, spot back to where it belongs. So with the integration of the core end teleport, it bumped the Alk spell from so it was always in like the bottom right middle side, and then it would always hook up and line up with your middle rightmost inventory slot. That was just so it's always like the fourth row down, the fourth spot over. It's pretty easy to understand. You hover over the spot and you can just click Alks. And yeah, so they added the Koren teleport to a lower magic level, which put it before the 55 requirement for alchemy, which pushed Alk the Alk spell to the next row, making it over here where like this, I guess, charged water orb is, and so it would go where like my nature rune stack is. And yeah, I actually relearned that muscle memory, go figure, because it was kind of forced by Jagex. And now they finally moved it back. So the way they moved it back, they actually added another spell before 55, this Fortis teleport or whatever. That is also pushing the Alk further from its original location. Now you're asking, well, then how is it now back in place? Well, they added this nifty little jewelry enchantments icon that groups together literally every enchantment icon into this. So you can open up that, and then there's all your enchantments, level 1 through 7 there, up to Zenites. So the Sapphire, Emerald, and Ruby one that were lower level than the Alk spell, that's 3 icons, all basically became one icon now. So that's before the Alk spell. So you had a reduction of 2 icons in total, as well as adding in the core end and the Fortis teleport. So it's a +2 and a -2 icons here, which ends up bringing the Alk spell finally back to its original location. So God bless. They actually figured that out. I think in the future they will just allow you to reorder the spell book. I actually think they already launched that update. So what actually happens is they allow you to reorder construction as well, and they allow you to reorder the spellbook locations. So they allow you to menu entry swap in construction as well, which wasn't allowed. You had to still right click build. But now you can just swap that left click option on a hotspot in your house to left click build, which is actually why I had been putting off construction lately. Some of my goals recently have been to do construction, and I actually made a gazillion planks. Let me go check how many I made. That's why I'm alking right now, because I literally need more money to finish these mahogany planks. So I have here let's see, that's like another 3,500 mahoganies, and I made 44-ish thousand planks already. So that costed a lot of GP. I probably sunk like 60 to 70 mil already, and a lot of this money has been from the gauntlet. So gauntlet dropping tons of alks, tons of just raw GP. I've been making a ton of money, and I finally am able to use it on construction. One of my main goals with the construction is to get 90, obviously 99, but that's going to be a lot more planks than what I currently have. But the goal is to get 90 on my main rating account, because in the Chambers of Xeric, what you have is um, you can build the chest based on your con level, and you can build a larger chest if you have a higher con level. So right now I can only make like the medium tier, and then there's like the third tier, the one above that would be I think 90 construction, and then eventually 99 would make the maxed out one. So you get an extra 100 points for every tier that you can make. So I guess, when picking up those planks while gathering supplies from scavs in the raid, typically you'll get like more than enough, more than what you would need. So I guess just the higher chest you can build, the more points you'd get. It's not very much, but it's these little things that, hey, if I'm going to be sending up to 1,000 raids, I may as well go out of the way and get the con level first. So that's why I've been doing a lot of construction, and on the side I've been actually finishing forestry off. So I finally finished the full lumberjack outfit. I have that on all 4 counts, so that way when I make the long grind to 99 woodcut, potentially even further, I just have that like XP boost outfit. It's just very convenient and nice, because you typically when you do woodcutting you're doing long sessions, so it's worth just throwing it on, boost your XP. I really hope they change a lot of the outfit uh, stuff going on. Like, there's supposed to be this new herblore minigame, and there's going to be another outfit. Like, we don't want a skilling outfit for every single skill, because that's one of the big things when I dabbled into RS3 before, really drove me away from the game. Is my bank was literally just like, I had an entire tab with just nothing but tons of clothing, because it was 4 or 5 pieces of clothing. You had your hat, your top, your legs, your boots, and then like your gloves or something. Like, for every single skill, like the smithing, mining, divination, just everything in that game has a skilling outfit. And if you randomly on a whim, say you come back from like a Slayer task and you're like, oh, I just have a few minutes up to an hour, I don't want to continue PVMing, I want to just go mindlessly do some skills till I have to log off for the day. You want to just grab an axe and go to the tree. You don't want to have to also then grab an axe and then like find 5 pieces of clothing in your bank, whether or not you can just search lumberjack and then they'll all pop up. Still, that's a lot of clicking. Then you got to equip it all, which means you're banking your gear, so that when you go back to Slayer, you're wearing lumberjack, so you have to re-gear. It's just so annoying, and I really dislike that. I dislike the concept of outfitscape. I do think they're aware of this though, and it's been brought to their attention that we want like some sort of trinket, or just a lot the whole set effect to like one piece, like the hat or something. That way you can like just show an NPC, hey, I have the full set, and if you have the full set, then they just buff your helmet or something. And just wearing the helmet alone, so it's just like, okay, an axe and a helmet, that's my outfit. It also allows you to show off fashionscape, like if you have like third age or like some crazy expensive gear, you can show off all your skilling rather than having to wear this silly lumberjack outfit. The top and legs and boots and helm, everybody just looks the same. Like, we're all just wearing 4 pieces of lumberjack and probably our skill cape with a teleport, or a max cape if you're maxed. Whatever, it just, everyone looks the same and it's boring. So hope they venture away from that outfitscape. This new herblore minigame though, it does look interesting, although unfortunately for Ironman it will utilize your own herb supplies. So it's not going to be as free herb XP as Ironman would think. You have to still sync like Quarms, Cantine, Lantodime, Dwarf Weeds, stuff like that, Avanto. So you're losing those herbs to get herb XP when you make potions normally. So having to use them for the mini game doesn't exactly help, but you probably get more XP per herb than you would normally making potions in this mini game, I'm assuming. Although they said the XP rate is not going to be that great, mostly because mains could just buy a ton of herbs and send it. So if it was like better than making potions, it would be pretty ridiculous. It's going to actually be significantly lower. For irons, it might be worth it because irons have to gather all these secondaries and stuff. So if you take the total time to go from like a grimy herb, gather the secondaries as well to a finished potion, then this might still be worth it. But I'm mainly going to be interested in the rewards. It's going to be one of those mini games like anything else, Giants Foundry. I don't know what else is another one, like Mage Training Arena, like these mini games where you just go Tempo Ross and stuff. You do the mini game until you get the reward you want, and then you stop, because this is not like a meta training method that will exist forever and ever. This is just probably just going to have a couple of cool rewards. They said there's going to be some kind of pre-pot device. This is one of the most weird things ever. It's going to be a pre-pot device, so it's going to let you, when when you want to send like a raid or go to like Armadillo, for example, it's typically helpful, especially if you're using an ecumenical key for God Wars, or just entering a raid right away, which is right away from the bank. Um, Typically people do, what you call a pre-pot. I mean, a lot of you probably know what a pre-pot is, but if you don't know what that is, it's that you basically just drink like one dose of all the potions you would want to drink, like a one dose stamina, a one dose super combat, a one dose ranging pot, most likely divines of those sort, because then you could drink the divine super combat and a divine ranging pot and be maxed out for the next 5 minutes, eat a shark to reheal that 20 damage, and then go to open the bank again, pull out 4 those new full potions, and then enter the raid. And then what you have is you have this lingering potion effect because you pre-potted right at the bank for a few minutes, and it's kind of like free. It's very free because you didn't have to commit any inventory to do that. You were able to bank quickly after, refill your inventory with useful supplies for the raid, and then send the raid. So you get like that free dosage right before you enter. And you could do that too with like God Wars. If you have an ecumenical key, you would pre-pot like a range pot, a super defense, and a stamina, and an angler. So you'd be going in, you cross into the Armadillo lair, and then you enter the door with the ecumenical key, and you would have a range boost, a defense boost, and you'd be at 120 health because of the angler. And you'd be stammed, so you could get there running. So that's kind of what a pre-pot is. They're saying that this will be a device that will hold basically, as many pre-pot doses that you want. So that way you just pull this out instead of like a one dose of every single type of potion you want to pre-pot with. And then you would just click this device and it drinks all the pre-pots in one go. Now, one of the issues that I think will happen, and hopefully they fix this, is that divines make you take damage. So divine potions, you're going to want to re-heal up with like a shark. Now, if you pre-pot and it doesn't let you include like one shark and one angler, then it's useless because you're still pulling out like 3 or 4 items. You're still going to have to pull out the pre-pot device and a shark and an angler, because when you use the pre-pot device, if it doesn't let you hold and include the shark eating and the angler eating after in the pre-pot, then the divines are going to lower you 20 health. You're going to want to then eat the shark and then eat the angler to go back to 121 health. So it defeats the purpose of even having this pre-pot device if you can't also just utilize the shark and the angler in it. So I hope they let you store like one of every type of fish in it, maybe. Um, Again, you won't be able to. Hopefully, you won't be able to withdraw these items anywhere but at a bank. So you can't like take one of every type of fish in the game inside this and one of every type of potion and then just have like a free little bank spot in your inventory and taking it to a raid, and then when you need the supplies, pull them out. I think you would only be able to do this at a bank. Kind of like the looting bag, you can't withdraw items unless you're at a bank. So that way it doesn't kind of cheese inventory spaces for like raids and such. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. There's also other rewards like the secondary supply bag, or little pouch. It's like a secondary pouch. It's going to be able to hold things like Mortmire fungus and red spider's eggs. Red spider eggs, the method is to do spidings anyway, so those come noted anyway, so this will be irrelevant for them, but I think it's mostly going to be for Mortmire fungus picking up. So basically, when you cast Bloom at the rotting logs in Mortania, if you have this pouch and it's set to open, I'm assuming it'll have that option. Then when you start picking up your first 25 or whatever Mortmire fungus to fill your inventory, they would instead go into this pouch. So you'd be able to go there with a full prayer, start gathering, and instead of then banking after 25 or whatever when your inventory's full, you would just be filling the pouch up for about 30 Mortmire fungus, and then once it's full, then the rest of your empty inventory, which is still empty, would now fill with Mortmire fungus. So you could get another like 25, and then you'd bank like 55 instead of like 26 or something. So you'd be banking like more than double each trip, which just saves a lot of time having to run trips to the bank and back, which definitely speeds up the efficiency of gathering that secondary. So it'll be nice there. I guess technically, Limport roots during Slayer, you could loot those, but like honestly, I don't even know how many tasks drop that in late game. Definitely not unnoted ones. Maybe like low levels for like hill giants or hobgoblins. I don't know. That one seems useless, kind of. It might be good for farming though. So like in farming, when you farm an herb or when you farm limpworts, uh, you could potentially they could be picked and then go right into the bag. So shout out to farming runs with limpworts. But other than that, I think snapegrass was the other one that came to mind, and that's again only for low levels, because if you're high level, you're going to be farming for snapegrass. But maybe a low level for their first like 300 snapegrass that they have to go pick up at the Hobgoblin Peninsula on Zaya or Waterbirth. They can bring this and like bank twice as much. I don't know. It seems pretty worthless besides maybe the Mortmire fungus grind. But we will see what they do to that. Other than that, yeah, the rewards are kind of junk. Like, I'm really disappointed in this minigame in general, the Herblore minigame that will come out. One, because it's not going to change anything for, like, the game necessarily. It's just another kind of lame introduction to, like, a minigame instead of a skill, like Winter Todd is for fire making. They want to turn Herblore into a minigame too. Like, I'm still going to be sitting at the bank, still going to be crushing 14-14, click the potion with the secondary, and then let it rip. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this minigame on multiple accounts, so for my specific scenario, it's kind of worthless, but even if it was good, I would still do it on one account while the others are AFKing other skills and get the rewards. So I'll probably be getting the secondary pouch on one of the accounts and see if it works for Mortmire fungus, and if it does, just kind of designate that account as like my Mortmire fungus gatherer for the group, and then not have to get it on every single account. Pre-pot device, probably get that on my main raiding account, and that would be nice for raids actually to pre-pot with. And then there's an outfit, so the outfit will give like an XP boost probably, and some other junk. There's going to be new amulets of chemistry. The new amulets of chemistry are going to be like an imbued version of the amulet of chemistry. I don't know how they're going to be obtained, if they're going to be as easy to make as making a jade is, but the chance to make a potion from a 3 dose into a 4 dose that the amyloid chemistry does goes up quite significantly. It goes from like 5 or whatever it is percent to like 30% or something. It's pretty ridiculous. So it will make, like, making super restores, it's going to go a long way. I think super restores are the biggest one. Brews, if you're not a huge fan of doing birdhouses, but I always do a ton of birdhouses, so I don't actually do that for my brews. Range pots is a huge one, so range pots, wines of Zambia are always scarce in general compared to the dwarf weed stack you'll get. So, and range pots are so important and useful, so yeah, they're one of those things where you'd rather make like a 4 dose instead of a 3 dose with the amulet of chemistry procking. So these amulet of chemistry or imbued are definitely going to be worth it for range pots, super stores, and then potentially things like prey pots, brews, or super strength, super defense. Some of those more scarce, limited potions, definitely. But yeah, we'll have to see. So that's kind of some of the updates. There have been one other update that I would like to mention and just briefly talk about, and that's the whole Magic Rebalance. The the Magic Rebalance update is pretty massive. So what their main goal with this entire thing is that they think that the occult for a single piece, the occult necklace, is just too strong. They think that 10% magic damage percent on one slot is just way too strong. Personally, I don't think there was anything wrong with it. The bracelet is 5%, so that's literally half. And the gloves have always been trash for mage anyway, so I don't know. The bracelet also seems powerful. But yeah, 10% was high. I thought they would maybe just reduce it to 8% and throw 2% on augury. Call it a day. Capiche, capush, end story. But nope, they're gonna do this whole overhaul to like everything. They're gonna add 1% on every Aram's piece. They're adding 1% or whatever to Eternal Boots, or is it 2%? I can't remember. Because they've had multiple iterations. They keep saying stuff and then they have to tweak it and change it. Honestly, I don't even know what's happening, but I'm not going to be bringing a boot switch into Chambers of Zarek and TOA. You just, for one, you just don't mage enough in those rooms until you have a shadow. So it's still going to be camping primordials meta. So this just basically nerfs everybody. This nerfs the occult, which nerfs all of our damage because we're still going to bring the occult because it's still at like 5%, which is still high enough to be worth bringing as your mage ammy, but it's not. And the other side buffs are not enough to make it worth bringing, like boots, because again, you're limited on inventory slots. I only bring like 6-way switches anyway. Like, I can't be bringing these 9, 10-way switches with like a ring, boots, gloves, and like all that stuff. I'm just bringing like plate body, plate legs, amulet, gloves, cape, weapon. There's my 6-way. So yeah, I don't know. Jagex is very clueless. They are extremely clueless to what actually goes on in their game, and they have to kind of learn the hard way every time. They have to like propose something that they have an idea should happen, like nerfing the occult, but they don't actually understand that the occult being that strong is fine given the fact that we are limited on space and we typically don't bring a lot of other switches, like Eternal Boots or a Seer's Ring or whatever, a Magus Ring, whatever. Like, we're typically not going to bring all those different types of switches because we want to keep it down to like a 6-way switch. But they're completely clueless with the game. So if they want everybody to bring 9-way switches for every style, yeah, bring Pegasians, Eternals, Archer's Ring, Seer's Ring, Berserker Ring. So you're going to have a ring switch, a boot switch. You're going to have 9-way switches for every single style. Your inventory is going to look like this. You're going to have the first 8 slots are going to be one style. The next 8 are going to be the next style. Then for like TOA, you need like a Karis. You need your main weapon, You're going to have secondary weapons like a blowpipe alongside your BOFA or something. And then you're going to have like a DDS for the core. And then you're going to have your room pouch. So amongst the 8-way switch on 8-way switch, that's already 4 out of your 7 rows. And then you have another row dedicated to secondary weaponry, and then a room pouch, and then you have potions. You're going to have like 6 spots for potions. I mean, they really want to cram our inventory down to like nothing. So I don't know. JAGEX, they don't really understand the whole 28 inventory slots limiting us to bring brews. Like I'm already crunched. I'm doing like 190 TOAs. I bring like 4 brews and 3 restores, and I can barely get through the raid with those supplies. So they want me to bring anything else, I'm gonna have to cut a brew, which means it's just there's so much less that can go wrong because I have less healing. There's already natural, unavoidable damage in like Baba and Akka that you just have to take in the Wardens, so I'm naturally going to have to use those supplies anyway. Yeah, it's just a big mess. I wish I wish they had just made it 8% on the occult and then added the 2% to augury, call it a day. But no, they are buffing some of these smaller prayers. So some of the prayers that I personally utilize, I think I've gone over this before, but like the 10% strength prayer, the 5% one, those are very value. They're very value for their pray drain as is. Um, the 10% strength prayer is going to give you like 2 or 3 max hits, whereas piety gives you like 6 or 7 max hits. But piety drains your prayer like absolute truck. It literally just drains the heck out of your prayer. So as a value option, you can opt for these lower draining prayers. Now they are buffing them. I think they're gonna do like the same. They're gonna do like the same strength boost basically, but they're gonna be draining like way slower. So that would have been nice for my slay grind because I want slow draining stuff so that I can ride out like an 80 prey point full altar return trip from an altar back to my slay task, let that prayer run out, and then go restore prayer, come back into the aggressive monster pit, and resume Slayer. That's how I did my Slayer, so having like the 10% or 5% strength prayer active on a slower drain rate would have been excellent. Unfortunately, uh, this update is a lot after I have already gotten 99 Slayer, so we'll see if I do return to slaying. It is a chill way to AFK out, ton of XP, especially my alts. Like if we're talking post 99s, then yeah, I will definitely go back to Slayer because you're getting like Slay XP, you're getting combats, HP, and all sorts of stuff like loot, money that'll be used for con, seeds for herb and farming. So, yeah, there's a ton of good reasons to go back to Slayer. So if I do, we'll end up utilizing those new buffed lower tier prayers instead of just camping piety, and it's just going to drain so much and you'd have to use a ton of prayer pots per task. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of the magic rebalance is they're changing a lot of stuff. Ancestral's getting a small buff, but that's because it's to make up for the occult nerf. Augury is getting like 4% magic damage. I think you're going to get like 2% on this Mystic Might, 1% on the Mystic Lore Prayer, and then this lowest one will probably still be 0%. Something like that. Again, they're not super clear in their blogs because they keep changing their mind. So no one has any idea what's actually happening yet because they still haven't made up their mind. So anyway, yeah, that's JAGEX in a nutshell. They are all over the place right now. A lot of the people behind the decisions to change the game have no idea what actually goes on in a normal like end game player's lifestyle. They don't understand pre-pots. They don't understand inventory management. Yeah, they just don't really understand the game as a whole. So that's a bummer, but what can you do? Moving on, so the accounts here, I said I was getting 99 con, or 90 plus rather, to be able to make the max chest in the Chambers of Xeric. I finished off forestry, and yeah, that is those are sort of the updates that I've been doing. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm sure there's some other skilling and stuff mixed in there, like gathering herb lore secondaries is always something. My kingdom has just been running non-stop, so I've been just reeling in herbs from that. Gonna have to do a massive herb lore grind soon. I have a ton of potions that still need to be made, even though I already did train a bunch of herb on all 4 of these accounts. I was actually doing herb lore on all 4. It works out really nice because to do 14 unfinished potions with 14 of the secondary, like adding, limpworts to a corn potion, you click that together and then you let that ride out, the 14 potions mashed together. It takes about that long to go to the next account, do 14, 14, click them together, go to the next account, 14, 14, fourth account, 14, 14. By the time I do all 4 accounts and I return to the first one, he's nearly done making those 14 potions. So I just go right into the bank, and it's like a nice little cycle. You have like a couple seconds to breathe in between, but for the most part, you just do one after the other, and every account is like constantly just banking and making new potions. So it's pretty nice to do herb lore on like all 4 at once. It keeps you really up to speed with not having any downtime with each account. So, but yeah, like when I return to Gauntlet and such, and any other type of PVM like raids, my other 3 accounts will be set up as these like alt skillers, and I'll be doing a ton of Zora scale fishing. I would like to just stack like a couple million scales. I know that sounds like a lot, but my goal is to get like multiple millions of scales, just never have to worry about it. Because again, it is XP, and I do like to go a little bit post 99. I don't have a problem with that because after you max on the high scores, the next thing that the high scores go by is just literally total XP. It doesn't matter what skill, it doesn't matter at all. So I will be trying to go for that rank 1 spot. That rank 1 currently is that Stream Team, the Alfie, Alkin, Devious, group. That they are still literally rank 1 because they all sweated out so hard, and they're all absolute gamers. So a couple of them maxed, and the other 2 are very close to max. So I will almost have to max all 4 of these accounts just to tie them. But the fortunate thing is that they're completely done with that group, basically. Like, they will never be returning to that group, even though most of them do still stream and play. They will probably never actually play on those accounts again. So rank 1 is kind of mine, free for the taking. I will eventually get there. That's why I'm doing a lot of skilling on the side. Like, I got my fletching up. I wanted to get 90 fletching on each account. That way, alongside the 90 woodcutting at the redwoods, as you can see here, this account can just chop redwoods and then immediately fletch the logs with the knife, and then they go to a single inventory slot stack of shafts here, and it gets rid of the logs so you can chop more, and these shafts will be used for fletching XP, for attaching feathers, and then eventually broad arrow tips. So definitely the way that I will go for fletching and woodcutting. Basically 90 to 99 because redwoods are really, really good XP. This account's already actually 96. I just got the 90 fletching on him just to do this, and in doing all these shafts, I haven't even gotten 1 level. So you won't really get the fletching levels from making the shafts, but you do get a small bit of XP, and it's mostly to stack the shafts up. Then once you have shafts, you attach feathers, another small bit of XP from that, but then eventually broad arrowheads, which is where the bulk of that fletching comes in. So I probably have like close to 99 banked in the arrow shafts already. So by the time I hit 99 woodcut, the redwoods that I have fletched into shafts will most likely be enough for 99 fletching. So Yeah, that's kind of the plans. This was meant to just be a small little progress and update video rather than a PVM focused one like the recent ones. The next couple videos will probably be like corrupted gauntlet progress, raids progress. But yeah, there's a lot going on in with Jagex right now, and a lot of changes to the game. Like they just changed the construction to be left click. You can menu entry swap that, so that's what I've been waiting for my con. Now that that's finally happened, I can finish all these mahoganies into planks and then smash them out. I have like almost 50,000 stacked up, as I've shown. And so that'll be my next plan, is to just hammer out all that construction. That'll probably take me like a couple days. Uh, Typically, that many planks does take a few days, because even though it's fast, it's going to 90 plus con still is a ton of XP. So yeah, I do thank everybody for tuning in. That's gonna kind of wrap up this video. Um, be sure to drop a comment if you like the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I also do sometimes stream on Kick and Twitch, so please follow my links in the description. That would be greatly appreciated, and hopefully you can catch me live at some point on those platforms. But yeah, I do thank everybody for tuning in. If you stuck around this far into the video, God bless, and I will catch everybody on the next one. Thank you, and see ya.